Super day, guys. Phenomenal Sunday, spiritual Sunday, serene Sunday. Hope everybody's having a good day, and we are back with another Read, Remember, Repeat interview. You know what I mean? We got a special guest on the show today. We have an author, a writer. I'm gonna let y'all see her when she get in. You know what I mean? But salute to her, shout outs to her. You know what I mean? And all the lady bosses out here that's winning. You know what I mean? Gotta show love to the lady bosses. You know what I mean? I think the ladies actually do it better than the males. You know what I mean? My man Ron always taught me that, you know what I mean? I had to keep my eye open like, yeah, man, the ladies do it better than the males. You know what I mean? So, like to welcome y'all to another interview. You know what I mean? Write in the comments, how was y'all day? How's everybody doing? You know what I mean? Birds is chirping outside. How's the weather over there where y'all at? It's definitely raining over here. But still a beautiful day, man. Should I say it rained? It's not raining, it rained. So it's clearing up now. It's definitely a beautiful day. Give it some time. We are going to add her in. Just getting some people in here. Sending out the invites. Word, man. Today was a calm day for me, man. You know what I mean? Spent some time with the youngins. Plotting, you know what I mean? We always plotting every day. But, yeah, man. Y'all know the drill. I know what's going on. What's going on, family? What's going on, gang? See my people coming in. Let's go. I will be adding this female author in right now. And this is because this is the second person that we had as an author on the show. This is our second author on the show. Where is she? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Where you at, family? I know she in here. It's 5 o'clock. They don't want us to be great. They usually like to do that. Stay tuned with me, everybody. Anna, you in here? Okay, there she go. Let me see. I'm trying to get you in here. There she go. Lady boss is coming in. Let's go. Everybody tune in. This will be a great interview. How's it going, family? How's everything?
Awesome. How are you?
Oh, man, phenomenal. How's your day today?
My day's been well. I was Sunday cleaning, like I always do. I clean my house on Sundays.
Okay. Yeah, man. Sundays is those kickback days. You know what I mean? From all the weekly, run-ins.
Yes,
yeah, but
it's my first Sunday off in a long time, so I enjoyed it. I slept in, I cleaned peacefully, and it's wonderful. And I'm here with you. I had a call with one of my good friends, and I'm here with you.
Oh man, yeah, man. I had definitely. I want to give you the proper introduction, right? Because we haven't met. This is our first time actually meeting. I actually got the book. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
How to Become a Conscious Creator. And I was inspired by just seeing somebody actually like take those steps, right? Not only that, you was doing a lot of entrepreneurship with the car rentals. I see you got your own fleet. You know what I mean? That's amazing. And these are the reasons why I was like, nah, listen, we need to interview her. We need to get her on this show because she's a lady boss, right? And Shout outs to the lady bosses. Anna, tell them a little bit about yourself. You know, who is Anna? And, let them know. Who is Anna Kevelin Reyes?
Who is Ana Kevelin Reyes? I was born in Dominican Republic. I came to this country when I was 9 years old. My mom brought me over here to Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And life changed drastically at that point, you know. It was tough at first to learn the language. You know, kids can be really mean.
Yes. Yes.
So I experienced, you know, what they call bullying and all that stuff, right? Because when I was a kid, I was a lot of part of me still to this day is a little timid. You know, my confidence grew as I became an adult. And then experiencing life after I had my first daughter when I was 17, 18 years old. And then I had my second child when I was 25, and just being in two different places in life, you know. And then now my oldest daughter, she's going to be 20 this month, and I'm a grandma, you know. So
God
just
bless.
experiencing life. And now I've written 2 books. The first one is about, you know, how to become a conscious creator. And that's pretty much the areas that I focus on when, let's say, you know, when people say, oh, I got enlightened, you know, and it's like, no, it's when I got tired of my own nonsense. Okay. I got tired of going through all the failed relationships and all the suffering and all of the bad things that we create for ourselves because of the choices that we make, right? But a lot of those things had to become clear at the point that for me being away from my mom and my family for a long time, because I left home when I was like 17, 18. I had my first daughter and I was away. And then I had to come back home. Life happened, relationship, whatever. But at that point, I started realizing, paying attention more to my mom and how she was, right? And then I started asking questions because I wanted to figure out what was wrong with me, right? Why am I this way? I have this conflict inside of me. I want to do these things, but something inside of me keeps driving me to go this way. And it became sort of like a conflict within me. So when I started noticing the behaviors and the patterns of, I went back to my grandma, you know, my grandma, my mom, my grandparents, my parents. I was like, oh, this is where all these things come from. Aside from me reading all of the books in the world, you know, because I started then working on my mindset a lot. Because I noticed a lot of my thought patterns were always very negative.
Wow.
You know, this is why I focus so much on thought health, you know, emotional health. And then when those two things are working healthy, now your behavior becomes healthy. So I started noticing a lot of the they say not generational curses, what I call them is, you know, just genetic things that are passed down to us, our thought process. People think that you just look like this because the only thing that you get passed down is the way that you look. No, the way that you think, the way that you feel. Because I read somewhere that you get all of your emotional ways of feeling from the mother, because you spend 9 months inside of your mother. So when I noticed the way the women in my life process emotions, I started noticing the same things in me. So like I was just talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, you know what, I love my family. I do. But I don't want to be like them. You know? And I just made it my business, and every day in every way that I can, I do my best to do personal development, you know, and that's of the mind, that's of my spirit, and that's of my behavior, you know. Like I was just saying, I know that there's 2 different spectrums in my life, you know. In one side, the women are very free and you know, very promiscuous, let's say, or whatever. And then the other side, the women are very reserved. So I'm like, okay, so I have those things. So let's learn how to balance it, you know. So I just feel like we have to become our own therapist. You know, you have to become your own self-evaluator. Self-awareness is key. And I read something with Jeff Bezos that said, you know, when a person lacks self-awareness, that is a problem. Because if you're not aware of things that you have to work on yourself to be a better person, how are you going to become a better person?
Correct. Correct.
Right? Like, how are you supposed to do personal development if you don't know the areas in which you are lacking? Everybody has to do personal development. Even the rich of the rich still have to do personal development. You know, one of the what's his name? Warren Buffett said the best class that he took was a personal development course. Aside from everything, a public speaking course, aside from all the things that he has taken, you know. And I think what I've noticed with us people is that we accept all of our the genetic things that have been passed down from our parents and our grandparents, and we just say, oh, that's just the way that I am. No, that's not the way that you are. That's the way that you've chosen to be. You have not done enough self-evaluation to not become different from that. It's not that they're bad people, right? Because there's a lot of good people in the world with a lot of bad habits.
You can say that, man. That's crazy.
Okay, there's a lot of beautiful people at the heart, you know, but their habits, the thing that the behaviors that now they have made into their habits, make them into such not good people to be around. And again, when I studied that in myself, I was like, man, I'm always around, like, you know, these type of people, because I always want to think that I want to save the world, that I have to save everybody, you know. But also that something that I had to learn was, if I'm not good myself, what good am I gonna be to everybody else? So I had to become selfish in that way, you know, to really take care of me. Especially now, I have daughters, you know. So everything that I do is being looked at. Every single thing, whether you want to admit it or not. You know, and I notice the way that my daughters speak to me, the things that they say, even the ways that they behave, right? I'm like, I gotta stop doing this, I gotta stop doing that. And because it's making me a better person.
Yes.
You know? And I feel that's why, you know, the universe gave me children, so I can correct a lot of my behavior, because at one point I was gone. I was out there, right? In the time of you know, when people were popping pills and ecstasy and all that stuff, I was there, right? But the thing that always took me back was like, I don't want to look messed up. Like, I always at a point that I'm like, if I'm gonna look like that, I'm not doing it. That's why I don't understand, you know, how people do certain drugs like crack and dope, because I'm like, I'm not doing that, because if there's a potential chance that I can look like that, I don't want it, right? Like when people do meth, they lose their teeth. I'm like, I'm not doing it, you know? So I always had a cap that whenever I felt myself chasing after something, I'm like, I don't want to do it. Even with people, you know, because when you're chasing after something outside of yourself, that means it's controlling you. They're controlling you. And just in the last 60 days, I've become really, really, really strict about detachment. You know, so I've detached from alcohol, because when I notice when I drink alcohol, it triggers me into depression. I start crying, I start doing all these things. I become belligerent in some situations, so I'm like, that's not good for me, right? When I would smoke, I would notice my thought pattern will go into a negative space. And I'm not the type of person that I become super smart when I smoke. No, I just want to go to sleep. That's all I do. I just want to go to sleep. So it demotivates me, right? Not like some people, they get enlightened and they get all these ideas.
Right.
And then I had to detach from this need that we always have to connect with other people sexually. And it brings about so many different issues, right? Because like, I just feel we're in a time in which sex is just, oh, it's just sex. It's just sex. And it's not just sex. You're really entering somebody's body. You're really sharing your body and opening yourself up to whatever it is that's going on with that person, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
That's mean. That's mean.
And that's what a lot of people are not taking into account, you know? And that's why, to me, personal development is everything. Personal development to me is everything. And, you know, I've learned, and, you know, about business and things like that, because again, it's part of personal development. You know, how do I manage my money better? You know, how do I keep most of my money? How do I learn investment? Last year, I said a friend of mine started a a trading group. You know, I had to learn how to read charts, learn about the stock market. And I remember when I first looked at a chart, I was like, how am I supposed to learn this? This is a lot, right?
Yes.
But how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I said,
Sheesh.
look, the stock market has been here before I was born. It's been here now that I'm living. It's going to be here after I no longer exist in this time and space and reality. So why not allow myself to learn something that is going to add to the quality of my finances?
Correct.
And a lot of people are always upset, and because they don't have enough money to take care of the basic things, pay their rent, pay their bills, take care of their car notes, and still have money to save and to invest and to do other things, and then just go have a good time, you know?
Right.
So when I take all of these things into account, again, personal development is so, it's just, people that don't do personal development, like when I think about how I used to be, I'm like, how did I even make it this far?
Right. Oh man.
You know, how did I even make it this far? Because I was just on autopilot. I wasn't thinking about anything. But now I think about every single thing. You know, like I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine. Like I don't sustain close relationships for that long because I'm a person of personal development. And what I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed by just observing people, you know, people in my family and people in my life, most people don't change. I know people that I've met when I was back in my early 20s, in my late 30s, my late 20s, my early 30s, that were, you know, out there going to the club, smoking, drinking, and they're still doing this right now.
Same things.
The
Same
same
exact
thing.
thing.
And I'm about to be 39 this year. I'm like, damn, y'all don't get tired?
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all don't get tired of the same thing? Y'all don't want to go travel? Y'all don't want to go see how other people party in different countries? If y'all really want to party, then go save your money and go party in different countries to see how people do it over there, right?
Right. Correct.
Like, you don't want other things to enrich your life? And what I've noticed is that no, a lot of people don't. You know, and I've noticed also a lot of people go from being up here to regressing because of the people that they choose to keep in their life.
Mm.
A lot of people are afraid of losing people. People are going to come and people are going to go. And if people are not bringing positivity into your life, for your life, so your life can increase for the better, it's time to let go. Or else your life is going to regress. And when you keep holding on to stagnant energies, you don't allow the doors to close and then other doors to open. So now new people can come into your life with new ideas, new ways of doing things. So now you can become a new person. I was listening to an audio with Tony Robbins, and he says, you know, our body, our cells get renewed every single so often time, especially our skin. I think our skin gets renewed it's the quickest, right? Because it's our protective shield. But all of our cells in our body, you're not the same person, cellular base, that you were in 2021.
Mm.
The only thing that stays the same is your thought pattern, because we don't ever work on our thought patterns.
I was just about to say the mind. That's crazy.
You know, the mind, and then the mind influences our emotions. I notice when I think about depressive things and I think and my mind gets cluttered with all these negative things, right? It affects my emotions, and then it affects the way I want to do things. So it's like a domino effect. If your mind is not working in a healthy way, your emotions are not going to be healthy, and then what you're indulging into doing are not going to be the best of things. Which is why, you know, I used to take up to drinking, which is why I used to take up to smoking, which is why I used to want to go and not be in somebody's face and go have sex that I didn't want to have sex. And now you're feeling bad on top of bad on top of bad on top of bad.
Yes, bro. Just to comment on the real Chicky 170, bro. I learned so much already in this interview. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know what it is that you reading, watching, but you are pouring out right now. And I just want to say, so far, this has been amazing, right? But we just getting started. It's been explosive already. So let's talk about, you know, the writing. You know what I mean? Because you are the second author that we had on this show so far. When and what inspired you to be a writer?
Well, I noticed ever since I was a kid, I used to journal. I was a journaler. I used to journal all of my things, all of my emotions and everything that I wanted, right? And then when I started becoming older and I started processing things, I never noticed that I was such a deep thinker and think about stuff. And people started telling me, like, you should write. You should write a book. Because the way that you understand things and break things down, I'm like, oh no, because I went through a traumatic experience that I had a journal. Somebody took my journal and they started reading my journal and started like saying all the stuff that was in my journal. So I never wanted to write again after that. So once I let go of all of that, you know, I took a course, and part of the course was that they were going to teach you how to write your book. And I was like, oh, here it goes. Here's the opportunity. And then I went to the SBA, the Small Business Expo, and there was a guy there giving a course on how to write a book. And on those two things, I just put my book together. And my book was mainly just the 7. I'm like, what's my book going to be about? Like, what am I writing about? What is it that I'm doing? And I said, okay, I'm going to write about the 7 areas that I focus on until this point. And that was 4 years ago. And now I'm getting to write another book about the personal development that has happened in these 4 years, you know? And it's going to be amazing because I'm super excited about this one. Because it's the buildup of all the stuff that I knew and not all the stuff that I've already learned, you know? And my mindset has become so much better since the first book. My emotional intelligence has become so much better since the first book. The way that I eat food has totally changed. You know, my parenting has become different. The way that I'm a daughter is different. You know, the way that I understand my purpose in this world is understood. You know, why I can't stop and I can't, you know, I cannot let my own mind, you know, try to disturb me, or the world. You know, the world easily makes you feel like what you're doing is not being heard, or it's not helping anyone, you know, because maybe you're not getting the attention that you want at this time. But today I heard another audio that just brought me so much life. Like, I'm always listening to YouTube audio. I have these 2 friends of mine that I love them to death because that's what they send me all day. Every time through my phone, they're sending me some type of motivational thing, some type of spiritual thing, some type of something. And it always goes in alignment with what I'm feeling at that moment. And that's why I love my universe. Everybody, I love God, because every time I'm in those spaces in which I'm not feeling well, because we all have times in which we don't feel well. I don't care how much personal development you do. You know, you're part of the world, right?
Yes.
And every time I have those times in which I'm not feeling too good, I always get these things that are like a reminder, like, no, you cannot be in this space. You have to snap out of it quick, because there's purpose for you, you know? And automatically I snap out of it and I start doing what I'm supposed to do. And I get back onto doing this, you know? And my goal in life is to continue to become just the better person that I can possibly be within my human experience. So then I can share those experiences with people, so people themselves can become better people, you know, because we all have different challenges. We all come from different societies, from different homes, from different neighborhoods. We're all exposed to different things. We all carry different luggages. We all carry different pains. But at the end of the day, we're all living the human experience, you know? And we can find this or that to connect and then help each other. Like, another audio that I heard was, you know, Einstein, when they asked him, what is the purpose of him existing? You know, and that was to serve. And then that is the only thing that we are to do here for one another, is to serve one another, to help one another. You know, whatever you can do with ease, that's your profession. That's what you do. You know, whenever you tap into a person that, you know, even a person that goes from like being, you know, losing a lot of weight. You know how many people are struggling with weight loss, and then you show them that, you know, and now you change the quality of their life. You know how people are struggling with mental clutter and not feeling good up here. You know how many people are dealing with depression now? It has grown, you know, because what we're shown that life is about all these materialistic things. And if you don't have all these materialistic things, now you're not good enough. And that puts a lot of pressure on people, especially people that don't travel, right? And that's what I always tell people, like, take the time to travel. Go to different countries. Like, every time I go home to Dominican Republic, it grounds me so well, because I see people that are not, that they don't understand how they're gonna eat from day to day. But here I am thinking like, oh, what I'm gonna eat for breakfast? What I'm gonna eat for dinner? Oh, let me go get some lobster. Oh, let me go get some crab legs. Or let me go get some. Oh, I just gonna eat fruit. And there's people that really, they don't know what they're gonna eat. They don't even have a bed to sleep on.
Sheesh.
The fact that I can turn on my heat when I walk up in my house and it's cold outside, I just be like, oh, thank you, Lord. Because there's people that don't have that choice. And the fact that we take those things for granted, you know, being here in this country, I love this country. But of course, there's a lot of things that this country can do better on, right? Of course, like everywhere. But there's so much opportunity here that the people from here are not taking advantage of. And that's why when people come from other places, they work so hard, because they don't have those opportunities where they come from. They don't have it. Like, there's no financial aid back home. There's no food stamps. There's no shelters. When you want to go to school, if you don't got the money, you can't go to school. When you're hungry and there's no food, you're going to have to go rob somebody. That's why the crime rate is crazy. You know, like what I saw with my eyes, I'm like, people really live like this? They were living in like this sink houses and in these spaces that it just broke my heart. I'm like, people really live like this. And that's why, you know, I work so hard to do the best that I can possibly can to be a positive force in the world. You know, because it's so easy. It's so easy to be bad.
Yes. I seen that in your book where you was like, you know, it's easy for us to get with the cool crowd because it's just like, you know, that at the moment seems like something that we want, but then the nerds or the people that's, you know, living a good meek life, and they end up actually, you know, being the ones that you should be around, and the people that should, you know, give you the good advice and take you to the next level. But we normally want to get with the in crowd, and I thought that was dope. I thought that was super dope. When did you write your first book?
I think this it's the anniversary is coming up. I have to ask my assistant. I'd be like, hey, when do we publish this and this and that, right? But I think it's around March or April. It's between March and May that is gonna be 4 years old.
Oh man.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, you know, it's time to write a second one. It's time to write a second one because I'm excited. You know, I have grown so much, you know, and it's just so much inside of me that I want to share now, so people can grow and people can develop, you know. And I just feel like that's what I'm here for. I'm here to share my personal development so I can help people, again, with those that are struggling with, you know, thought clutter, and they're not clear in the person that they are, and they're feeling all junky inside, and then they're all those things are leading them to drink too much, and to just wake up every day to smoke their life away, you know, and then to be surrounded by people that are not good for them. And because they're afraid of being alone, they don't detach. You know, I'm in a place right now in my life in which I spend most of my time by myself. Most of my time. You know, I make time for the people that are important to me so I can have those conversations with them. So, you know, I can speak to people, right? Because once you spend too much time by yourself, it becomes a little weird. You know, so we are people of the world. We have to socialize, right? But I spend a lot of time with myself, you know, because I'm very sensitive to energy, and I noticed that from when I was a young girl, you know, that I would always be like, why do I feel this way? And it's because I pick up on people's energies very quickly, you know, and because I'm a person of correction, I'm always feeling like I'm correcting people, right? I don't want to correct anyone, right? But I do want us to be better people, because the better we are mentally and emotionally and physically and financially, the better asset we're gonna be to each other. Right. So, you know, that's what writing has taken, you know, that meaning for me. That is like, you know, this is the way that I get my message out, and this is the way that I make myself immortal. You know, you live forever, you know, and that's why you have to find, what is that thing? What is that thing inside of you? You know, because a lot of people have told me, oh, you should model, oh, you should act, oh, you should, you know, but I'm like, I don't want to be part of that world. You know, it seems so superficial, you know, and I'm not a superficial person. You know, I'm always a person in the room like, you always got to get so deep. And I'm like, and why are you not getting so deep? You know, why do you want to stay right here? You know, I dislike small talk, you know.
Low vibration. I seen actually 19 Keys like one of your posts, and 19 Keys is actually out here like knocking shit down, you know what I mean?
Yes, I was listening yesterday to his, hold on one second, let me turn this thing on that I had in the oven. I don't want it to burn.
You good. No worries.
I was watching yesterday his high level conversations that he was having. I forget the other guy's name, but I've started following him too. And I think every man in the world, and even women, should watch that interview, because that interview really solidified the issue that I've been having as a woman the whole time that I've been dating and up to now. You know, is this energy that I've always carried of being strong. And I've always been a person of like solutions, right? I'm not a person that just sit here and be like, oh yeah, you know, I just want to figure it out, you know? So when I find myself dating a man that, when we have an issue, does not go into solution mode, it is like, it ticks me off the wrong way, you know? And when I will find out, you know, me dating a person that was not focused on personal development and then becoming more by themselves and within the relationship, I didn't want to be in it anymore, you know? And then the last person that I just finished dating, it was more so like I found myself in this masculine energy all the time. And I'm like, I'm tired of carrying this energy. You know, I was born a woman. Okay? Whenever I'm dating someone, if I have to keep raising my voice, or if I have to keep checking you or correcting you, that's a red flag for me. You know, because men are leaders. Men are structurers. Men are solutionists. You know, women were born to help. We're the helper bees. You know, we're the ones that, yeah, whenever you need help with this, whenever you need help with that, yeah, I got you. You know, and I heard another video that said that women were not born to carry all this weight. You know, I think the woman of today feels like, oh, you have to work so hard, and you have to have all the things that the guys have. I don't want to work so hard. Okay, that's not what I was born for. You know, and then a lot of women today don't like to hear this. You know, everything has a place. Okay, and a lot of things right now, when it comes to women and when it comes to men, it's out of order. everything is out of order. You know, men want to be women, women want to be men. You see grown-ups doing things that kids do. You see kids doing things that grown-ups do. Everything is just out of order. And I'm just like, what is going on? And when I remember seeing the things that I saw being from Dominican Republic, you know, is the men will go away and go work, and all the women were home with all the kids, you know, cooking, cleaning, whooping everybody's butt, you know. And every time the man came to the room, everybody straightened up. Like, okay. And it was food, and it was money, and everybody was happy. And they didn't speak much, but when they spoke, they spoke. Like, I remember the one time my grandfather whooped me once, and he just, what? I thought the whole world ended.
He ended the world for you on that one real quick.
Yeah, because he's never did that before, you know? And it was because I took a shower too quick for his liking, because I wanted to go play, you know? And, you know, he was just always a clean person and such a structured person, you know? And that's what I think about when I think about men, you know? Like they say, you know, you bring groceries in the house, women cook you a meal. You give us a house, we make you a home, you know? And I just feel like women here are out of order. Everything is out of order. And that's why I've said to myself, like, I'm just gonna be single for a while, you know, because I don't want to step into a relationship and now I have to carry this masculine energy, and then I'm making this man feel some type of way because he's not functioning from his masculine energy. He's not functioning from his leadership. You know, like the relationships that I was most satisfied with, and it's just amazing because the one passed away and then the one ended up going to jail for life. Those relationships, I was so satisfied in that because they were such leaders. You know, they came into my life and they fixed things. Whatever problem I had, they fixed it. You know, and that's what men do. Men see something and they fix it. You know, like, I don't understand at this point when women be like, oh, I don't need no man. What you mean? Who gonna do the oil change in these cars? Who gonna change these tires? Who gonna put up this TV? I'm not. So I can mess up my hands?
Yes.
Who gonna change these light bulbs? Men. You know, like, every time, like, I don't understand. You need men, you know, and the nerve of us to like, oh, we don't need men. But we all lived inside of a man before we came out here. Okay, I don't want to use the words that I really used, you know, because, you know, I be cussing. But I'm like, what do you think we lived before we came into our mothers? We lived in there, okay? So we need these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, you know, just appreciating one another for the differences that we have and for the balances that we bring into each other's life. I don't want to do what a man does. I wasn't born a man. I was born a woman, okay? And the balance is when you get with a man who's functioning from his manhood, all those things balance out. You know, because a lot of women are functioning from the overly emotional, right? Because they have these dudes that are doing all these raggedy things. Because again, he's not functioning from his manhood, right? He's lost in whatever mundane things people are doing, you know? And that's what I've noticed when it comes to your man and woman relationships. Everything is out of order right now. And I just don't want to mix my energy with people that are not on the frequency. Right. You know, because the frequency is literally super high right now. And I'm not willing to compromise myself. Because I've done it, you know, I've done it in so much. I've done it for so many years before. You know, like I was just telling my friend earlier, again, I don't want to use the words that I was using before, but I'm like, I did that too much already. You know, like, I did that too much. Now I'm doing things differently so I can see what that's going to bring into my life. Because that's the reason why we don't experience new things in life, because We don't do different things.
Right.
We don't do different things, and then we expect, like these men, these women, oh, there's no good men out here. Sis, you've been the same for the last 10 years.
You expect to attract something different, right?
And you're expecting to attract something different.
You've been looking in the same places for 10 years.
Hello, discipline. That's when I think about, like, people that do martial arts, or like monks, or even people that play sports. You know how they can be drinking, they can be having all this sex when the season is on, because all those things affect the quality of their sport. All those things affect the quality of their strength when they have to do whatever it is that they have to do. Discipline is everything. People that don't have no discipline don't develop anything in life. Anything. They don't work on anything, and then they wonder why the quality of their life is the same. Then when you get old and now you're stuck in these same type of behaviors, now it really gets bad, because now you're old, you ain't got no money. People don't really want to take care of you. People don't really want to mess with you. And now it gets really, really bad.
Right. Shit, I know you, I know we tapped in on you being a writer from when you were younger, right? And what did you want to or think you would have been growing up?
I wanted to be a psychologist. I wanted to be a psychologist when I started college. And then when I started college, I was 19. I had my first daughter. I was married. And then when I looked into the whole PhD and the dissertation and everything that I had to do, I'm like, I don't want to be a psychologist no more, because life was so hard at that point. At 19, I had to learn how to be a college student. I had to learn how to be somebody's mama, and I had to learn how to be somebody's wife. It was a lot. And then thinking about the fact that I had to be in school for like 10, 12 years. And everything, at that moment, I was just like, I don't want to do that anymore. And then I just went through school, tapping into different classes and everything. And then I went into respiratory therapy. So I have a degree in respiratory therapy. I worked the field for like a year. And then I just got turned off from it because I didn't like the way doctors and nurses treat the patients. And me, the emotional person that I am and so soft that I am, it was just a lot for me. And then I didn't, being around sick people all the time, it was making me like kind of depressive. So I'm like, I don't like this field. Yeah, the money is good and everything, but I don't want to be here.
I think you actually doing a lot of psychology through your writing.
And that's why I want to go back to, I want to go back to school to get my certification in mental health. I love the mind. I love how, the things that make us become the people that we become. How does a person that come from just a terrible place, right? Like the guy that I used to date before, when you hear her story, is terrible. Both parents were drug addicts, just terrible, right? When he tells me his life story and compared to my life story, I was like, man, that's interesting how you lived in the United States and I lived in a third world country and I had a better life than you. So interesting, but for me to see the type of person that he is, so happy, and always putting his foot, his best foot forward with everything, it taught me a lot. And I started functioning now from a place of like looking at things in the, in the brightest way. And just, how some people come, they have everything, but yet they're so weak. They're so mentally weak. They're so emotionally weak. They break down so quickly. What creates those type of people, And that's why, at first I didn't agree with what Shaq said with his kids. I'm rich. You're not rich. And people don't understand that when people have to work for their own stuff, it builds character.
Different. Yes, it's different.
Than just giving everything to them. And that's what, if you have everything fall in your lap, you're not doing anything for it. So you're not really going to value it the way opposed to a person that has really put every brick to brick their house, compared to a person that can just walk in their house, And I noticed that, and I noticed that with my kids, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it work for some stuff now, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, man, because even the process that I'm going through and the process that you may be going through, it makes you grateful for that process. Because like you said, laying down brick by brick is how you say, thank God I put this brick up. Thank God I put this other brick up. You know what I mean? And I think that's what God sometimes is trying to do to pull you closer to him, you know, just so you can get more of that energy, that positive energy, you know what I mean? More so than just like, I can get anything that I want, you know what I mean?
And that gratitude, you know, that's one part of my chapters in my book, you know, gratitude. I had to learn how to really, and gratitude comes from a place of not just saying thank you, but just appreciating, you know, like I appreciate my house. Like I said, I love the fact that I can turn on the air conditioning when it's cold, when it's hot outside. I appreciate the fact that I can turn on the heat when it's cold. You know, appreciate the fact that I can go to the store and buy different foods. I appreciate the fact that I'm able, that I have a healthy body, that I can work, you know, and sustain myself and be in a space right now, thankfully, that like I tell, you know, young girls, it's like you have to work to be financially independent, so you don't have to ask nobody for no $40 and then end up sleeping with somebody that you don't want to sleep with so they can give you a little bit of rent money. Okay, like that's the reason why you have to work as a woman, to be financially independent, not because we don't need no man, and not because now we're gonna measure the man based on the monies that we have. No, so now you're not using your body as a vehicle for you to get money, and then feeling all types of used and all types of trashed, because that's the only thing that we have, because prostitution was the first profession of the history of life. Okay, so why, like, you know, like I was telling somebody earlier, I'm like, what I noticed is, you know, me being and starting business and stuff like that, I noticed every time I had to deal with a man or whatever, yeah, I'll help you if you give me some. But why? Because I see you helping your brother just fine, right? But when it comes to us, we gotta sleep around.
It's crazy how you just said prostitution has been around since the beginning of time.
The
Like
beginning of
that's
time.
crazy. That's crazy in itself. Like,
In the beginning
wow.
of time, because your body, you
Wow.
know, even in our countries, even in Dominican Republic, right? A lot of the girls that get kicked out of their house or don't have money, that's why those men fly over there to go sleep with them, because the only thing that they have, the opportunity that they have, is to go sleep around so they can make some money. You know, and over here it's not like that. We can go to school, we can get a job, even if the job is not paying that much, we can go to school, you know, or we can just get a little job that's really at least going to help you have a little bit of money. But over there it's not like that. So now women have to use the only vehicle that they have, which is their bodies, be around all these people that are gonna like, ooh, you know, and then now they have to mentally and emotionally deal with that. And now you develop all type of mental issues, all type of emotional issues. And now you're not even looking at yourself in the light that you were designed to look at yourself,
And it's
because of
crazy that
finance.
he said it's old as father time. It's crazy how like we can remember that when we were first like growing up. We can always see a woman that's just throwing around that type of sexual energy. And like from when we started, I'm talking about like we can go back to learn from other things, but like from where we started, we can always see that energy definitely was around since the beginning of time. You know
Yeah,
what I
since the
mean?
beginning of time, and it's still here. You know, I said that's what I'm so thankful for right now. I'm like, you know, I'm so thankful that I finally gotten myself to a place in which my millions of dollars are not here yet. They're on their way, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
I make enough money to be able to sustain everything that I have without having to ask nobody for anything, and without having to go sleep around with anybody and then come home and feel nasty. Because 10 times out of 10, women don't want to do that. You know, but okay, if you don't want to do that, then work on yourself hard enough. Okay, work on something hard enough, then now you're able to earn it for yourself. And don't be upset that you have to earn it for yourself, because every single adult in the world is supposed to learn how to take care of themselves, woman and man. I think women have had this misconception, and we have been spoiled in a way that, oh, men are supposed to take care of us. Yeah, when that's your man. When that's your man. Okay, when that's your man. Not no guy that you're talking to, not no guy that you're dating, not no guy that you want to manipulate. You know, because women want to pretend around like they like you or anything, but they don't like you. They just want you to give them money. And they want to act like you're crazy when you're demanding something for the money that you just gave them. So don't put yourself in those situations. Work for your own stuff, sis. And then you don't have to deal with nobody demanding anything that you don't want to give, which is your body. Because your body has no prices. Your body has no price. No price. No price is, you know, your body is worth. But like, oh, he's annoying. Oh, he's this. Oh, you wasn't saying he was annoying when he ran you that $1,000 for that rent money.
They got nerve to get it and still complain about it. Like they not the ones creating that. That's crazy.
Exactly. So when I started connecting with all of those things, right? When I started connecting with all of that and the frustration that was coming from men and the frustration that was coming from me, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna work hard enough so I'm able to take care of myself and I don't have to deal with these energies. You know, and when I started just being straight up with people, like, look, I'm just gonna be honest, and I don't care what happens after that. Like, I don't like you like that. You know, like I met this guy, he started throwing money at me and stuff like that, and I said, hey, listen, I know what you're doing. If you're expecting to have sex, we're not having sex. He disappeared.
That's simple. Listen, conscious creator, guys. Conscious creator. You create with your conscious mind. Just another question here. Is there a difference between a writer and an author? I got my own personal beliefs on that. But
I think when people think of author, they think of people that like they took like writing courses and went to school for it. And a writer is a person that writes more like free writing, you know. And I used to listen to this to the speaker, what was his name? Tony Gaskins. He talks about relationships. And when I read his book, that's another reason why, you know, I was motivated to write my book, because I'm like, oh, I used to think like, well, if I don't go to school for writing, or if I don't take like a, you know, writing course or stuff, I can't write a book. You know, I'm not an author. So that also kept me, you know, and I think that's what I love about our time today. You know, as long as you have passion behind something, you know, and as long as you can do it well and good enough, later on, as you keep going, you get great.
Right, yes.
You know, you don't have to be great to get started. What's that Les Brown says? You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to start to get great.
To be great. Yeah. Ah, that's deep though. Just pondering on that is like shit. Like if you don't start it, how do you expect to be great?
Right. And then this other book that I read too is called You Square, right? And
You Square. Oh my God.
Right? It's like as you keep doing something, your body is gonna remember. Your body's gonna remember the good things that went in, and that's all your body's gonna do next. Like they throw you in the water to swim, you remember now. And then the second time, you're gonna swim better. And then the third time, because your body is designed to remember all of these things, and it's going to keep what worked.
Yes.
And it's gonna discard what didn't work, you know. But we are so afraid. We go with that fear of like, oh man, what if I make a mistake? Oh man, what if I trip? Oh man, what if I fall? Oh man, what if I... Man, do it anyways. Do it anyways. Because at least it's better that you tried, okay, and failed, which you didn't fail. You got experience. Nothing is a failure. It's just experience, okay? That if you didn't try and then wonder, damn, I wish I could have, would have, but I didn't. You know, I like the feeling of just go and do it. You know, go do it. And if it doesn't work, well, it didn't work. Go to the next stuff that you want to do. You know, but you know how many people die with things that they want to do, and they don't do them just because they're afraid. Yep. Fear is one of the most crippling emotions. And they use it all within our government. They use it all with everything. And that's why we're so afraid to take action. That's why we're so afraid to do things, because fear, I read this in this other book, Psycho-Cybernetics, what fear does to our nervous system. It breaks it down.
Yes,
literally.
paralyzes you. Paralyzes you.
And it literally, like, from a health point of view, it breaks it down. Fear stops brain growth. It's deep. The way that they have figured out how to really keep us as regular people. And no one is regular. Everybody has their superpower. We're all X-Men and X-women out here. It's just that we don't tap into our gifts. You know, we don't tap into these things.
Shout out to BX Ronin. He put the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu.
Absolutely.
Eesh. How do you expect to get to 1,000 miles if you don't take one step?
If you don't take one, you know, and I think just like Nas said too, you know, people want to go from A to Z. You know how much goodness is in between? From the journey, all the lessons that you're going to miss just because you want to go from 0 to 100 real quick. What about everything else in between? That's where the goodness comes from.
Put that Nas in there one time. That's that growing up in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Nas from Queens,
yes,
but you had to get some of that.
Listening to music, you know, and listening to music that makes you think, you know, and it's wholesome music, you know. I know music has changed over time, you know, and, you know, to each their own, but I don't listen to the music of today. I can't relate to it, you know. I just don't know what they're talking about, you know. I don't know what they're talking about, you know. Some of the songs are okay, you know, but one time I found myself, I was driving somewhere and I had the radio station on or whatever. And then when my conscious mind focused on what was being said on that song, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, first of all, they sound like they're on drugs.
Yeah.
I was like, turn this. I just feel like my brain was slowly like dying.
Right. It's because
like, listening to that stuff.
It's like, even when we not, like, even if we didn't pick that song, we're leaving the door open for anything to come in. So if anything is coming in inside that door, you're automatically taking that inside your house. You know what I mean? And I like Bob Proctor. I love Bob Proctor.
Yes,
Rest in peace, Bob Proctor. Man, Bob, I cried. I ain't gonna lie to you. And
you know, because he was like one of my first speakers. It's him. And that's because of him. I said, you know what? I'm going to make it my business to go see Les Brown and go see Tony Robbins.
Yes.
I don't care how much it's going to cost me. But those were my three main people. And then after them came everybody else, you know. But when I heard Bob Proctor has passed away, I was like, man, that man really was part of the change of my life.
And he came from nothing. He'll tell you about it. Not only he'll speak on race too and tell you like it was one thing he said, the white balloon and the black balloon still flies the same. It's just it's something about how you, man. And I tell you, they'll throw race in this thing to just stop you from even getting the information from certain type of people. Right,
which part of it is true within the system. You know, we're not gonna discard that, but the knowledge is out here for everybody. Yes. Okay, and especially now in the age of the internet. Okay, we can pretty much research anything.
Jim Rohn, shout out to Jim Rohn too.
Yes, he was. Tony Robbins used to work for him when Tony Robbins was a young upcoming speaker. You know.
Yes, and you see how that's how they start. You see, I'm looking at you right now on the screen. Hello, and I keep putting this in front on purpose because I want people to understand and see, you know what I mean? You see it. Conscious Creator by Kevelin Reyes. And this is who we have on the call, guys. So I want everybody to tap into this. And man, I'm telling you, I would love to read this on the show because I go through books, but at the same time, I know it may, you know, you may be content sensitive right now. You want to still have it under wraps maybe, but at any point that you just give me the green light, I will read this on the show front to back.
You can, you know, my whole thing is I created that book for the world. You know, what is it? I like money, right? But I don't value it. I like it because it makes things comfortable, right? I can pay my rent. People have a lot of money, can buy any things that they want. But you know how many rich people in the world are miserable? You know how many people in the world that's all they have is money? Because they don't have no substance. They don't have no real friends. You know, I used to date a man that he was, millionaire out the yin yang. But he didn't trust nobody. He have no friends. And I don't want to be like that. I like money, of course. Everybody should have money. We all should aim to at least earn $500,000, you know, at least. So you're able to go on vacations. You're able to buy the car that you want to buy. You're able to buy a nice home. You're able to help your family members and stuff like that if they're working towards something, you know.
Right.
But I don't want to make my life to just be about chasing money.
Right.
Yeah, I want my life to be more grounded and to understand, so my spirit can grow. Because after here, I'm going somewhere. You know, and I want the richness of my experience here to be of value. You know, so I have a friend of mine that he buys books for me, and he gives them away in the streets of New York. You know, so there's a lot more people in the world that have my book that I know. I get my royalties from Amazon all the time, and I don't know who bought the book.
Right.
You know, I get people randomly come through my Facebook, my Instagram. Oh, thank you. You know how much you've helped me. No, I don't know. You know, and that's what drives me. That's what makes me continue doing this, you know, because it's what I was born for. You know, I've always been like that, but I just had to tap into it, you know, and like I said, my goal is just to become the better person that I can possibly be, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and then share that with as many people as I possibly can, you know, because the goal is to serve. Like, thank you so much. That's what I was telling my friend, me working now at this job that I'm working now for Navy Federal, right? At first I was like, oh, who wants to go back into the workforce or whatever? But on that phone, at least 1 to 2 phone calls a day have nothing to do with banking. They all have to do with what that person is going through personally. And I said, look at me still serving my purpose at a job. If you don't tell me that's not God, and that's just
crazy.
Me being such a force.
That's crazy.
Of goodness, that I like, those are the calls that I look for and I love the most. Yeah, I love helping people with their banking question, whatever. And I'm gonna do that, like banking one-on-one. I want to come back over here to teach people about the basics of banking that they just don't understand, right? That I've learned from just working in that job. And that's what I do. Every single place that I find myself in, I see how it builds me, and then I'm just so eager to tell people all the stuff that I find out. You know, so I can make better people, so people can just become better, you know, because we all bank, we all use a debit card, right? But we have not been instructed. That's why I love the governor of Florida, how he now passed the bill over there that all kids now have to take financial literacy on taxes, on banking, on all these things that we didn't get and that are necessary to be a fully functioning adult in this society. Why we don't get a crash course on taxes? Well, whether you build a business or you're working for somebody, you're dealing with taxes. But nobody tells us these things. You know why we don't? But we're taught calculus. Who cares about no calculus?
That shit ain't gonna
If
do
you're not
nothing
gonna
to
use
you.
that to the rest of the duration of your life, there's no reason why we should know that. Or earth science. I don't want to be a meteorologist. Like, for what? There's so much junk that we get in school that's what we don't remember right now, because there's not part
It
of our
doesn't
there's not
even.
part of our daily life.
Yep. Yep.
Credit. You know, I learned that the power of credit when I got my cars. I was like, oh, all I needed was credit, and I just ran through all these creditors. Now, when you get the credit, all you need to have is now the funds to sustain it, and that's it. And people don't even know how to build a healthy credit, and what is it that impact credit. That's why after I go from that department that I'm in, I want to go into credit cards, just because I want to learn what is the criteria that they look for to judge a person to get a credit card. And then so I can just bring it out here and keep sharing it with the world, because that's just what I feel inside of my being, my spirit. My spirit was just here to share and to love on people and to get people to a better place. I'm not better than anyone else. Like I said, I have days that are not so good sometimes, but because I've trained myself that these are just moments, and I've trained myself and I trained my mind and I've trained myself to be in power. And I have good people. I have good people in my life, my closest friends. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I don't know if that is that they feel it or something, but every time I'm in those whoop-de-whoop places, they start, you okay? And it just comes out of nowhere. And that's why I feel like I'm so blessed, because the Lord never lets me stay sad for too long. It's like I cannot. Like, no, you cannot be sad. You cannot be upset. You have to be in this space because this is what you're supposed to here to do. Like I tell people, I don't have a lot of time to be upset. I have to figure it out quick because I have a responsibility with myself and with the world.
Yo, listen, this was a super duper saucy fucking interview. I'm sorry. I mean the cursing and all that, what I mean? That's crazy. We all grown here, but at the same time, it's like, wow. Like this I might have to we might have to can you come back for part 2? I mean, it may be
absolutely. Just let me
down the
know.
months, but yes, because we're going to do some recaps with some of the people that came on for sure, because a lot of people drop sauce on here. And this is what Read, Remember, Repeat is about. It's just about pouring a little bit of positivity in people's cups. You know what I mean? We all need some encouragement, you know what I mean? And it's definitely grounded around like reading and information, positive information. You know what I mean?
Reading. Like the first thing that I do when I wake up in the morning, I go on Robinhood and start reading articles. Thank you, baby. I go on article and start reading articles because I'm learning this new thing, and it's a lot, like I'm about to go on my group that we discuss stocks and stuff like that after I get up from you here, and I just love it. And I tell myself, open your mind. Do not resist. When we tell ourselves, oh, we don't like this, we don't like that, you're creating resistance. Open your mind. And then the information is gonna start making more sense. And it's like riding a bike. When you first got on it, you fell. The second time, you wobbled. By the third time, you're like, oh. And that's with every single thing. Every single thing is like that. Because now that I've been studying stocks for like 4 or 5 months, I'm like, ooh, I can look at a chart and I know what I'm looking at. Now from the first time, I was like, oh my God, what is this? Right?
Yep. Yep.
But it's the consistency, the consistency, the consistency, the consistency.
Yep. And it's not going anywhere. So you got a whole bunch of time to still learn it. John C. Maxwell said, if you focus on one thing for an hour every single day, you can be a master of it in 5 years.
And that's what I do. I spend an hour, and then on one day a week, I study it. I look at like certain videos and I write notes down, and then one day a week, I study it. I'd be like, okay, let me take the time to put hours into this before I go to sleep. And that's how I've gotten better and better and better. And I'm not rushing through it because I got my whole life to study it, and
compound
just
effect. Somebody get
Yes,
that's the
yes.
compound effect, man.
It's sick with it. And like when them dividends, when I see my Robinhood, I'm like, ooh, I love dividends. I love dividend day. Just gotta buy
That's a
more.
fact.
Just gotta buy more equity, you know, so the dividend can be larger and larger and larger. But again, like I say, you know, it's like I think we just need to understand better, you know, our perception of money. You know, you want to make money so you're able to invest. And with those investments, that you take that money from that investment and you make another investment and you make another investment. Life insurance is big, you know, big money in life insurance, the way that you use it, right? That's we got to talk about that, right? And how people have created generational wealth through life insurance, right? But those are things that we're not taught. And that's it, you know, and learn how to keep most of our money. You get a certain lump sum and then you put it in an investment and then you let that investment take you somewhere else. And that's just the way that it's done, you know, little by little, little by little. It's like we want to eat the whole elephant and it doesn't work like that. One bite at a time, you
Oh,
know.
yo, that's my first time hearing that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is saucy right there.
And being conscious means being aware. You know, the two parts of our mind, the conscious and the subconscious, right? When you're conscious of things, that's what you're aware of, right? You're aware of. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake. So we have to be careful with our words. You know, a lot of times you have to hear yourself. So I know my neighbor at this point, he think I'm crazy, you know, because he probably hears me yelling through the wall with my Tony Robbins video on, because I just found this new Tony Robbins video talk about something called incantations instead of affirmations, right?
It's not about them
And
though. It's
right,
about
exactly.
what
And I'm
you
like,
do.
I
Yeah.
don't care if you think I'm crazy,
Yeah.
you know, because you could use some personal development over there, but you know, that's not for me. But you know, just you have to talk to yourself and talk to yourself nicely, talk to yourself with power, talk to yourself with love, you know, so you can hear yourself, so your system can pick up your own frequency, your own voice of you talking to yourself. You know, a lot of times I record myself and that's the only thing
Oh
that I listen to.
man, listen, that's a
I
jewel.
be driving and I don't listen to music.
Listen to
I listen to
yourself.
audio, I listen to myself talk, you know.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
routine. It's a routine. It's like you have to create that routine. There's like people got that routine of getting up in the morning and rolling up. Make a routine of the first thing that I do when I get up in the morning, I drink a bottle of water. Get my system going. Because what we're not understanding, when you're sleeping, your body is working on cleansing. That's why when you wake up, you first have to urinate. I drink a bottle of water so then I can go defecate, right? Because your body just finished dealing with all the stuff from the day. Now it has to cleanse. Never
Oh,
compare yourself to anything or anyone. We are one of one out here. That's what we are. Fingerprints lets you know that. Nobody's fingerprint is the same. That's why I don't like when they compare athletes. Oh, Michael Jordan and LeBron. It's two different people. It's two
oh
different people. There's no
man.
comparison, you know, and they have different legacies.
Yo, the
And they have different
sauce.
styles.
Yo,
You know, so stop
yo, and
comparing them.
you are wilding today. I'm talking about, I don't know what you are putting in your diet, but it's definitely coming out. And we are all accepting it, embracing it. Everybody loves it. If we look
Thank
on the
you.
chat right now, everybody is just like tuning in, appreciating everything that's being said. I'm gonna leave some questions open if anybody want to ask any questions while we get ready to, you know, because I know it's time sensitive. I know there's things that you want to do too. I got to get with the family in a few, and yeah, you guys ask questions. I'm gonna ask some more, and then we'll get to the closeout, right? So just where have you traveled?
Where have I traveled? So I went to Mexico. I went to two places in Mexico, but that's one of my main goals right now. You know, I was just talking to a friend of mine. I want to go back home first. Before I go see the world, I feel like I need to connect back with being home, you know, with being in the Dominican Republic and seeing different things, because there's so much over there that I haven't experienced, because I came here when I was so young. But now that I'm an adult, I'm making my business. I'm not even going to think about how I'm going to do it, but I'm making my business of going over there at least every 6 months, once a year, because I need to reconnect with that side of me. I need to reconnect with that before I start going to the places that I dream of going to, you know. And of course, that's the places I want to go to is Italy, you know, the Dubais, the Egypts, you know. And I want to go to places that are earthly, you know. I want to go to Africa and go, but I don't want to go to the places that everybody goes. I want to go to where there's a village and they live from the earth, and I want to see how people live, you know, opposed aside from the Western world that everything is so out here. It's so materialistic. I want to see people that live from the earth. I want to see people that live from their resources, that they farm their things, and you know, those people that have to walk 10 miles just to get a bottle of water, you know. Like, I want to see what that's like, and my goal is to live in those places, you know. That's the reason why, you know, I want to have a lot of money, so I can go travel and I can leave things paid off and I can go and do those things.
On top of you saying God led you to working at with Navy Federal, why? Because I know you're an entrepreneur also. Why choose entrepreneurship?
Why choose? Because there's freedom there. That's what I experienced in 2021. You know, in 2021, I was just doing all my own thing. And I noticed, you know, I'll go to the gym whenever I wanted to. I could be with my kids whenever I wanted to. You know, it was just the freedom of time. The freedom of time. You know, when you are in the workplace, you have to be at this place from this time to that time. And you feel like after a while, you're just stuck there. You know, you can't do anything outside of that. And by the time you're done with that, you're tired. You don't really have enough energy for your children. If you're a mom, you don't have enough energy for your husband. If you're a wife, you know, you don't even have enough time for yourself. But I make time for those things still, you know. So I've learned how to manage my hours in my workplace, you know, and still connect with my kids, still connect with myself, and still, you know, find time. And again, it's discipline. It's time management, you know. I don't speak to people every day because I have to get the things done that I have to get done. And those things require my time and attention. And if I stay on the phone running my mouth, those things are not going to get done. And then by the end of the week, I'm going to be upset because I didn't do them. But why are you running your mouth so much? You know, and then talking about nothingness at the end of the day, because we're talking about putting a project together or something like that. Okay, cool. Right. But no, now I say, look, I go to sleep at a certain time so my body can wake up at a certain time. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day without an alarm. I don't like alarms. I don't like the way they wake me up. But that's because every night I'm in bed by 11 o'clock. I'm in bed. And between 11 and midnight, I'm asleep. And my body's waking up already by 5:30 in the morning. I'm up.
Let's go. Let's go.
You know, and that's naturally, but that's because I build that discipline.
If a genie gave you 3 wishes, what would it be?
Knowledge. Health. What else? More health. Wellness. You know, like, look at Steve Jobs. Billionaire. Well, his money couldn't take away the cancer. You know? Look at that one, that Rothan, the old man that finally died after his 6th heart transplant. Yeah, he went up to 6, but eventually it ran out. You know, health. When I get up in age, you know, 70, 80. My great-grandparents, my great-grandpa passed away 111 years old. And my great-grandma, 103. So it's in my genes to be around for a long time, which is why body health is important to me. You know, and that's why I had to, like, disconnect from working out and reconnect to working out. Why do I work out? I work out so I can have a healthy body. Not because I want my body to be a certain image because I want to be sexy for the gram. No, so I can have a healthy body, a strong body, because I need to be out here for a long time so I can keep sharing you know, the message. And so the more and more I developed as a human, my spirit, so I can be healthy. That's it. So I can just be a healthy person. You know, health is important to me.
it's this thing that we do called a 5 for 5, right? Like, you know, you could go to Wendy's and get a 4 for 4. So like when we do the 5 for 5, what we do is we give you 5 questions and you give us 5 answers, right?
Okay.
They could be quick, you know what I mean? They don't have to be, but you know, I know mindful is the best because you don't want to just say anything. Your top 5 books.
My top 5 books. The Science of Being Great. The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. It's right here. What's his name? The 48 Laws of Power. This one. It's this one author. What's her name? But it's this Dan Ruiz. Have the little mini book over there.
Four Agreements? Is it 4 Agreements?
No,
Okay.
The 4 Agreements.
That's
Yes. That's like my Bible.
Oh man.
That's like my Bible. Okay. Like that taught me so much about, you know, spirituality and stuff like that. And then number 5 is The Science of Getting Rich. Like W.D. Waddles is one of my favorite authors. The Science of Being Great, The Science of Getting Rich, The 4 Agreements, Florence Scovel Shinn, all her books. And these were people that were authors in 1910s and 1920s. Like I always say, this knowledge is not new. Knowledge is not new. It just has been put away because it doesn't go with the system. But all this, you know, higher consciousness and understanding that you come from a greater source is old.
Top 5 things to do.
Top 5 things to do. Reading, writing, working out, eating. I love food. Okay. and just connecting, having these type of interactions, you know, with me. They're important to me. You know, they're special to me, you know, and I value them, especially when they come, you know, from an enriching place.
Right. Top 5 foods.
Top 5 what?
Foods.
Food?
Yes.
My favorite one is pizza. I love pizza. Pizza and me, we are best friends. What? I love me some pizza. I love fruits. Like one of my favorite things to do when I do like a quick snack, I always cut up my lettuce and I do like a strawberry salad. Strawberry, lettuce. I love quinoa. That has been something that I put part of my diet because it's high in protein and it makes your system move. Like if you want to take a good poop, eat some quinoa. Okay. Quinoa. It's a super food. Okay. What else do I love? I learned how to eat crab legs when I moved to Georgia, right? So I love crab legs. I don't eat it that much because I be thinking when I eat that, I'm eating bad, you know? And salmon, just because of the nutrients that it has, you know. Women need omega-3 fatty acids because of our cycle and stuff like that, you know, and it's good for the skin, you know. But fruits are my thing, you know. Veggies are my thing. Quinoa is my thing, you know. Pizza, I love pizza.
Top 5 snacks.
Top 5 snacks, pistachios. Ooh, I love pistachios with a passion. Like I can eat pistachios all day. Sometimes I eat pistachios so much that I don't even eat food, right? I like you know, those mixed nuts too. I like those. I eat cereal as a snack. I'm a cereal person, you know.
Cereal's fire. Cereal is fire.
I love peanut butter and crackers. What? I love peanut butter so much I have to tell myself not to eat it. Okay? Because I can eat through a whole jar like quick.
Peanut butter is good for
And
you,
again,
so
like fruits. I love a banana, you know, just grab a banana and eat it. Grab some grapes real quick when I'm hungry on the phone and just eat them, you know.
yeah,
Like I had healthy things.
yes. And top 5 places. I know you said Dubai, Mexico,
That's what
Africa.
places for me to go. I want to go again to a place in Africa, right? I want to go home again. I want to visit those places that I've never been in at home, you know. I want to go to Dubai just to see what that man did. You know, that's a man place. You know, I want to go to the pyramids, you know, because of all the history and all the mysticism there. And I want to go to a whole bunch of places here in the States that a lot of people don't travel to. You know, it's a lot of parks, you know, here that are full of just things to do. Like I'm figuring out where I'm gonna go here in Georgia for the summer and go look at a bunch of waterfalls and a lot of trails that I can go to, you know, and go hike and stuff like that. I
Nice,
love things like that.
nice. Listen, Anna, I'm not gonna lie, right? This has been super interview, yo.
Thank
And
you.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate your words, your positivity, your mindset, right? Because I'm actually thinking like this is gonna be $1 million interview anyway. Like I might have to just get the recording and just save the audio by itself. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And that's how, like you said, that's how we become immortal. I won't take your time for granted. This was an amazing interview, and I believe that it needs to be heard by millions of other people. You know what I
And
mean?
send me the audio too.
Okay.
So I can use it. Don't be afraid to read the book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want, I'll send you the other book that I wrote, the affirmations one. The affirmation was more based on like what I did through the process of conscious creator, you know, and it was a whole bunch of affirmations. That's how I did, you know. But now I'm learning, like I said, I found this old video with Tony Robbins that is about incantations, the difference between affirmation and incantations, you know, and it has to do more with you putting your body's energy into it, you know.
Mm.
And I found that has been working really well as of lately. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Family,
I appreciate you.
family. How to become a conscious creator. 7 steps to self mastery by Anna Kevelin Reyes. And I'm happy to just even know you as an author and have other author friends. You know what I mean? People that wrote books.
Thank you.
I actually did a book myself, but you know, this isn't about me. This is about you right now. And let's go, family. Read, remember,
Thank you.
repeat. Yes. Thank you
Yes.
for your
Yeah,
time.
have a good one.
Oh man, amazing.